It was a serene evening when the Bangtan boys were enjoying some much-needed downtime after months of rigorous schedules and countless performances. Jimin, with his ever-gentle and caring demeanor, had always been the emotional core of the group, his heart deeply tied to each member's joys and struggles. But that evening, an unexpected turn of events shook him to his core in a way he hadn't experienced before. Jungkook's mother, a figure adored by the members for her kindness and warm presence, suddenly collapsed right in front of Jimin's eyes. The scene unfolded so quickly yet felt like an eternity to him, as if the very air around him thickened with dread. Jimin froze momentarily, his usually calm mind spiraling into panic as he processed what he was witnessing. Jungkook's mom had always been like a second mother to the members, often sending food, checking in on them, and radiating maternal warmth whenever they visited. To see her in such a vulnerable state broke something deep within Jimin. He immediately sprang into action, his instincts taking over as he rushed to her side, his voice trembling as he called for help. The sight of her lying there, fragile and unresponsive, was a stark contrast to her usual vivacity. As paramedics arrived, Jimin felt a heavy weight settle in his chest. He couldn't bear the look on Jungkook's face when he arrived at the scene. Jungkook, who had always been the strong yet sensitive magnate of BTS, was visibly shaken, his hands trembling as he gripped his Hung's arm for support. The bond between Jungkook and his mother was something Jimin deeply admired, and to witness such anguish in his younger brother's eyes pierced his heart. In that moment, Jimin's protective instincts over his members surged like never before. Throughout the ride to the hospital, Jimin stayed by Jungkook's side, holding his hand tightly. He whispered words of comfort, though he himself was struggling to keep his composure. His mind raced with countless thoughts. What had caused her to collapse? Was she going to be okay? How would Jungkook cope if something happened to her? Jimin's heart ached with the weight of these questions, and he silently prayed for her recovery, his hands clasped together tightly. At the hospital, as they awaited updates, Jimin took it upon himself to be a pillar of strength, not just for Jungkook but for the entire group. Jin, Suga, J-Hope, and V arrived shortly after, their faces etched with concern. Jimin, despite his own inner turmoil, took on the role of reassuring everyone, doing his best to remain optimistic. But inside, he was battling a storm of emotions. He kept replaying the scene in his head, wondering if he could have done something more to prevent it. The guilt and helplessness gnawed at him. When the doctor finally emerged with news, the group collectively held their breath. Jimin's hands tightened into fists as he braced himself for the worst. Fortunately, the doctor informed them that Jungkook's mother had suffered from extreme exhaustion and dehydration but was stable now. The relief that washed over Jimin was so overwhelming that he had to excuse himself for a moment to gather his emotions. Tears streamed down his face as he leaned against the cold hospital wall, the weight of the ordeal finally catching up to him. That night, as Jungkook sat by his mother's bedside, Jimin stayed close, ensuring his younger brother had everything he needed. He brought Jungkook food, adjusted the blanket around his shoulders when he dozed off, and even hummed softly to keep the room calm. Jimin's heartache wasn't just for Jungkook's mother, it was for the fear and pain Jungkook had endured. Jimin vowed silently to always be there for his members, to protect them and their loved ones with every fiber of his being. In the days that followed, Jimin's actions spoke volumes about the depth of his care. He frequently checked on Jungkook's mother, often visiting her with small gifts and warm smiles to lift her spirits. For Jimin, this experience was a poignant reminder of how precious life is and how important it is to cherish every moment with loved ones. His connection with Jungkook grew even stronger as they navigated this emotional chapter together, their bond deepened by shared vulnerability. Jimin's empathy and selflessness shone brightly during this difficult time, reinforcing why he is so beloved not only by the members of BTS but also by ARMY around the world. His ability to be a source of comfort, even when he himself is struggling, is a testament to his character. The incident with Jungkook's mother was a harrowing experience, but it also underscored the strength of the family BTS has built, a family bound not just by music but by unwavering love and support for one another. In the end, the scare served as a powerful reminder to all of them about the importance of health and balance amidst their demanding lives. And for Jimin, it reaffirmed his role as a guardian of his members' happiness, a role he embraces with every beat of his big, caring heart. The weeks following the incident were a time of reflection for Jimin. Even though Jungkook's mother was steadily recovering, the memory of her collapse lingered in his mind like an unhealed wound. Jimin often found himself lying awake at night, replaying the scene over and over. The fear, the helplessness, and the realization of how fragile life can be weighed heavily on him. But instead of letting it consume him, Jimin channeled those feelings into gratitude. He made it a point to appreciate every little moment with the people he loved, knowing how quickly things could change. As he watched Jungkook slowly return to his cheerful self, Jimin felt a sense of pride. Jungkook had shown incredible strength throughout the ordeal, but Jimin knew it hadn't been easy. There were nights when Jungkook would sit quietly, lost in thought, and Jimin would be there, sitting silently beside him, offering his presence as comfort. They didn't need words, their bond spoke louder than any conversation ever could. In those quiet moments, Jimin realized how much Jungkook had grown, yet he also saw the boy who still needed his Hyung's guidance and care. The entire group rallied around Jungkook during this time. Each member contributed in their own way, whether it was Jin bringing homemade meals to the hospital, Suga offering his calm wisdom, or J-Hope brightening the mood with his infectious energy. Ever the leader, helped coordinate schedules to ensure Jungkook had time to spend with his mother while balancing their commitments. V, who shared a close bond with Jungkook, often stayed late into the night, talking and laughing to help ease his friends' worries. Seeing this collective effort reminded Jimin once again of the unique family they had built. For Jimin, the experience also reinforced the importance of self-care and well-being. He began encouraging the group to take better care of themselves, scheduling regular health checkups and advocating for more breaks in their grueling schedule. It wasn't just about their physical health, Jimin wanted to ensure that they were all emotionally and mentally supported as well. He realized that being strong for others meant taking care of himself, too. Months later, when Jungkook's mother was fully recovered and visited the dorm to thank them all, Jimin felt a wave of relief and joy. She hugged each member, expressing her gratitude for their unwavering support. When it was Jimin's turn, her embrace lingered, and she whispered a heartfelt, "Thank you," that brought tears to his eyes. In that moment, Jimin felt a sense of closure. The fear and pain of that day were replaced with overwhelming love and gratitude. The experience became a turning point for the group, reminding them of their shared humanity beyond the stage and the spotlight. They had always been close, but this incident deepened their bond in ways words could never fully describe. It was a testament to the love they had for one another, a love that transcended fame and fortune. For Jimin, it was a reminder of his purpose, not just as an artist but as a friend, a brother, and a source of strength for those he cared about. Years later, when Jimin looked back on this chapter of his life, he didn't remember it as a time of fear or pain but as a moment that brought them all closer together. It became a story they shared with fondness and gratitude, a story that reminded them of the importance of being there for each other through life's highs and lows. For Jimin, it was proof that even in the darkest moments, love and kindness could light the way forward.